Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be doing Banggood window shopping. I haven't checked what's on for a while and made one of these videos, and I'm getting a lot of requests to actually create one. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I'll leave the links in the order that we check them out down below. So if you wanted to check out a specific product, you can go ahead and follow along. Now, as you can tell here, we read it with iFlight Megabee. So I think this is somewhat inspired by or possibly cloned from the original, which I forgot its name. But it's a 3-inch that's supposed to take a GoPro, fly pretty slow, and give you nice cinematic footage. Don't know how well this is going to perform, but it is on the expensive side. I mean, if you get with the TPU parts, it's 80 bucks with that, just the 4 pieces protective cover. Oh no, this is just a protective cover, so I guess, oh, so yeah, it's pretty expensive. So I'll have it linked down below. T-Motor released a VTX. Now obviously they're not the manufacturer. They went to somebody else to do it. It looks nice, that's all I can say. It takes HV input, which is high voltage input, and it has a 5-volt regulator. But I don't really like how the LEDs, how you're gonna know what channel you're on through the LEDs on the side. It's not really, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, if you always leave it on one channel, but it can get kind of annoying if you're gonna be flying with people and you want to change the channel. But it's a pretty good price. I don't know how well it's gonna perform. So yeah, if you wanted to get like a T-Motor spec'd out quad, you probably get a VTX also. So this is an Emax Eco. Now I've tested, I don't remember if it was a 2306. I think I've tested the 2306 Emax Ecos, and these are 2207s. I am not sure. I think, yeah, these are new ones here. So I've tested the 2306. I think those are really great, the low KV. And you know, some people complain of the bearings, but I mean, come on, you get what you paid for. $10 for an Emax motor, 12 bucks for an Emax motor. That's pretty good here. So I'll probably pick up, I don't know if I'll get low KV or high KV for this one, probably low maybe, but we'll see how well that goes. It's a really well priced motor. Emax is a known brand anyways. So T-Motor F55A. They released a second ESC. Now I expected to see more filtration at least, but that's not the case here. What we get is just 5 LEDs extra. So we get one right here, it's RGB LEDs, and we get 4 down here. Now me personally, if I was going to go and design an ESC, I would actually just fill that thing up with capacitors to the brim if I am able to. But yeah, so they're using great MOSFETs as they're stating, and we'll see how well this tests very soon on the channel. But it's a pretty expensive ESC, by the way, 76 bucks. So I'll have a link down below. Try to get my hands on one. T-Motor, if you're watching, send me one. All right, let's see what else we got here. So these are pretty interesting. Okay, the only thing that's interesting about them is the price point. Performance, I can't answer anything for you because the flight controller looks like it's not the greatest of quality, but I mean, as long as it works, that's totally fine. So we have an F4. It's an all-in-one sort of, I think. Yeah, it's an all-in-one flight controller in a way. Yeah, it is. It's an all-in-one with some, you know, soft mounting. It's rocking MPU 6000 gyro, so it's not a super sensitive gyro. And there's 2 versions, ones that come with 35 amp ESCs and the other one that comes with 50 amp ESCs. 50 amp ESCs look slightly better, but that's not really true. I mean, in terms of filtration only, because they are using baby FETs, because you can tell by how big the FETs are right here. But that doesn't really mean much unless they blow up in your face. But yeah, so I mean, check this out. I don't know what the hell is going on here. So I don't know if this is going to have a copper rod, or they're expecting you to fill all of this with solder, because that improves the current flow in the design of the PCB here. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty nice, but you know, the price point is what's really attractive, especially this, that you get 4 ESCs. It could be like a little cheap basher quad maybe. So I'll have it linked down below, the cheaper version, the $70 one. I'll try to get one in and see what we can do with it. Let's see, what do we have here? I mean, the flight controller by itself, is it the same one? Yeah, it's 35 bucks, close to 35 bucks. All right, so this is pretty interesting also. What we have here is we have Racerstar T-Motor F40s. So I think what's going on here is, you know, these are the old motors with C-clips, as you can tell right here and everything. And what they wanted to do is, T-Motor, obviously they released their newer stuff, but they had all of this surplus stators and bells from their older models, and they wanted to get rid of it. So they probably, you know, contacted Racerstar or something, but Racerstar probably said, yeah, I'll do that, but I have to keep your name also on it. or they already printed with the T-motor name and they just added Racerstar. This is what I think, but I could be totally wrong. It's my theory. I would love to hear your theory down below. So these are like basically the older F40s. And you know, the thing about these, the older F40s and the older FC, I don't know how old these were, but like about a year and a half ago, every T-motor I got, when I used to plug in, just put in my prop nut and I'd leave it and I come back so I can go fly, the shaft would just pop off. I mean, I'd come back to the quad, I just see the propeller just disappeared, and it actually just jumped off the motor with the prop, with the whole shaft here. And I had really bad experiences with them back then, but now they're way better, way better. So 17 bucks for this. Hopefully it performs pretty good. Maybe it's a nice cheap way to get a T-motor. Older things doesn't mean worse, but it can also. So this is a Racerstar metal. I think this is the one that I've tested, or it could be a second revision, which is up to an 8S. The first one I tested, the one that I've tested, if you could go ahead and search for it on my channel, it was really great actually. The filtration was really good. It was handling itself really nicely. However, there's a little downside to these that's well known, is that you'll probably have one with one of the LEDs not working, but that's about it. That's as far as I've heard. And the placement of the connector isn't really well thought out. And I think this is a revision too, not the one that I've tested. This is probably a different one. They're using pretty big FETs. And if we take a closer look here, these are possibly Toshiba FETs here. So it's a good, nice name branded FETs. That's when they say, oh, imported FETs, which means they brought them from Japan. All right, so I'll have that link down below. And let's go ahead and see what else we have. Well, not these. These are really interesting. Now, I released a post a while ago saying these are the budget X-Class motors, and they are pretty budget for an X-Class because the other ones are like 130 bucks. These are for a 6S maximum, 3 to 6S they take, 400 and 600 kVs. So these are really interesting motors. I have no idea how they're going to perform, but it should be, hopefully I could get my hands on some of them and build our X-Class. So I'm planning on doing a half DIY X-Class build where I get the tubes and the frame and the carbon fiber and I cut it out myself. I think the overall cost would be a lot cheaper because they're just really expensive, those frames. And the ESCs for such a thing are going to be pretty damn expensive. This is like really expensive, but they're obviously a little bit cheaper. So 80 amp 6 to 12S ESC from T-Motor, $130, just one ESC. That is pretty damn expensive. But I mean, you know, oh, maybe we can make our own ESCs since now we have our schematic released. So they're also, Banggood's picking up some KISS products, which I would like to possibly try very soon on the channel. I'll have this link down below. I've never really tested KISS products because the shipping was always really expensive from every single shop that if I were to order it here. However, now I have a better chance of getting them here. Now, this one, I don't understand why it's so expensive. It's saying F4, F7 and 70 bucks. Now, looking at it, there's nothing special about it. I just don't understand. Is it because of the software, FlightOne? I have no idea because it uses everything. ICM gyro, the 2062, which is the Maytag uses. F4 microcontroller unit. I just don't understand. 16 megabytes of, there's nothing special here. Well, maybe I'm just not in tune with everything. So I'll have a link down below. It's pretty damn expensive for a flight controller that does a flight controller thing only. All right. The Kakute Stack Mini looks pretty sick. I got 2 of those. We're going to be testing the ESC 6S with shootout in the shootout, and as well as stress testing. So it's going to be really cool as well. So I'll have this link down below. Also, I think I released a video yesterday for this. Let's see. This is okay. I'm not really interested in that. This is I'm kind of interested in. This is really cool. I kind of miss these. I used to always use them, which is basically 4 ESCs and a flight controller into one board. I like the setup. It's just so quick to set up. You just put your receiver, camera, VTX, and battery. I think that's it. Camera, VTX, receiver, and battery, and you're good to go. And obviously your motors, and then you're good to go. But it's not really great for newbies because if you screw it up, you screwed up the whole thing. So just stick to cheap single ESCs. I think I'd highly recommend in the beginning. What else is this? F7 Twin G. Is this a combo? Yeah, this is a combo. So yeah, we're gonna come back to this real quick because it's right here, the ESC. We've already seen the flight controller. So Spedix's new 6S ESC, 63 bucks. This is the new trend. Hella expensive 6S ESCs. 45 amps. Let's go ahead and take a closer look down here. So filtration looks good. Looks great. Looks nice. Are they doing that same thing like Acon? This does look like Acon. I knew Acon. I think Spedix makes their ESCs. So if it's cheaper for you, just get the Spedix. I think the Spedix is cheaper because they're the manufacturer. All right. So this is pretty. This one right here. I like the Spedix one down below. So I tested this one. It's a 50 amp 6S ESC. Filtration looks minimal, and in the test, it was minimal. However, saying that, doesn't make it a bad ESC. I don't know what FETs they're using, but they're pretty massive FETs, which is nice to see. Size doesn't really correlate much, but it can to the performance of a FET. So I got the non-heatsink version. And they're yawking, I think, the F3s or these F0s. No, they're not using F3 flight control. Microcontroller units. Let's see. Wait, what? Why are they different here? Which one? I have this one. I don't have this one. Oh, they're different FETs. Okay, so now I understand. No, so I have the deluxe version with the heatsink FETs. Okay, now I understand. So I don't know if these are going to perform slightly different or not. But the deluxe is, it's actually pretty cheap compared to everything else in the market for what it's offering. That is actually really great when you think about it. Just add a low ESR capacitor. I think they provided a low ESR capacitor with it. I don't know. I'll have a link down below. Go ahead and check that out. Let's see. F40 Pro 3s, 1600 kV. I have a bunch of T motors I need to test still. I think that's it here. Everything else is pretty... let's go somewhere else. Oh yeah, I got these also in. T-Motor Slims, so we'll be testing those very soon as well. See, here's an example. Here's an X-Class motor for 120 bucks from T-Motor, 6 to 8S. So I'll have a link down below if you want to go and check it out. All right. Let's see. All right, so we're in the radios and receivers. I just want to see if there's anything new. Now, if you've been watching this section for a while, like I was, you'll find that the jumper has disappeared. The one that's like the FR Sky killer. And the reason for that is I think FR Sky told Banggood that if you were to take that radio into stock, then we will pull our products from your website. And so that's why they removed it here, because it's basically almost a clone. So Jumper kind of cloned that. Now, if we go down here, this is a really expensive FlySky radio, and I think it's, you know, I don't think it's targeted towards us, mostly like the multi-rotor audience, because this is just overkill in my opinion, even though I'm using an X10. But yeah, I fly both airplanes in that. But for me to transfer just to full out FlySky, I wouldn't personally, but I would love to test it. Now, just saying that doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't even have a module bay, which is kind of a huge letdown in my opinion. Now here, this is pretty interesting. This is a board that goes inside your FR Sky X-Lite, and it allows it to charge via USB. Now I was creating a circuit for such a thing, and I mentioned it in a video. I don't know if the person or the company heard me say that, and they just went and jumped on it. All right, so now we have the X-Lite S and the X-Lite Pro. Does it justify the price of the Pro? Well, this comes back to you. I think it has Bluetooth built in or something. I'll try to get one in, but I already have two X-Lites. One I burned and the other one's still working. They're really nice. I mean, you don't really need... I mean, if I were to purchase one right now myself, I think I would go with the S version, the X-Lite S. And, you know, actually, I don't know. They're just going to be almost identical, just slight differences here. But I would definitely pick some of these caps up, which I'm still waiting for mine to come, which allow you to put an 18650 in them, so they can last a little bit longer. So this one here, I have this. Okay, I picked this up because I do have an X-Lite, and it's using nickel metal hydride batteries, and I always had to take it apart to charge those batteries. Now, I was expecting a really nice solution here because it looks really great, you know, on paper. But this is what I consider somewhat of a false advertisement, because I did receive it. First of all, the battery looks pretty big, but it's actually not that big. It's actually pretty small. But that's not a problem if it really does have the 2000 milliamps in there. But the issue is with the connecting part. You see here, this is a balance charger, so it's taking the 2S input here and going in there. Now you have to do these modifications yourself. However, if you take a closer look here, one thing that when I received mine is I don't have this JST connector, this red one here. I just have these two. One that's for the 2S balance port and one that provides the power for the radio itself. However, there's no way to connect the battery with this thing here. There's no way. You have to figure something out, use some pins or something. So this was, in my opinion, actually it kind of frustrated me. But yeah, we will see that video later on once I figure out a way to do this for everybody. I'll design some nice little 3D printed part also to go somewhere. So yeah, I mean, it's really okay priced, but there's better things you can do with 25 bucks, I guess, in my opinion, but it comes back to you anyways. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, I picked one of these up. So the QX7 that I have, I have the QX7S. The kit, it comes with a case, but I use the case for my Fat Shark and like my goggles and my modules and the batteries for them and the antennas. So I said, you know, I'm gonna get this because I'm not using my QX7S. I'm using my Horus, and I did receive it. It's kind of bent up from the shipping. The packaging wasn't the greatest. But overall, it's a pretty good solution. It's pretty rough, but make sure you put the gimbal protectors on because it's not as great quality as the original FR Sky handbags, but it's still a really nice option, a really nice cheap option in my opinion. I am using it now, but again, make sure you have your gimbal guards because it can, you know, bump into them if something pretty heavy came on that thing. So keep that in mind. But it's a really well priced. I'll have it linked down below if you want to go ahead and check that out. Let's see what else we have. I think that's it here. I saw the other page. There wasn't really much going on there. Let's go ahead and go to the batteries. Now the batteries, I do have some important information about batteries here. The URUAVs, my opinion, don't get anything above the 1SHVs because they're just not great quality. They do perform okay, but they just die immediately, like after a month of use, like a couple cycles, which is not really great. For example, this one, I have this one, not so great. I don't recommend at all. I do also have the 2S URUAVs. They're okay. The 2S HVs, am I on the new? The 2S HVs, they're okay, but there is better. I do have other ones that are better, but they're still alright. They get me flying, they're still doing fine, and I'm not having issue. I haven't had an issue with any of them. So, and they're okay. I would give them like a 6 out of 10. But you know, the bigger ones, anything above 2S, I would definitely try to avoid if possible, because I'd give those like a 3 out of 10. Let's see here. They're really nice packages for them, but you know, I mean, you get what you paid for here. Exactly, you're getting exactly what you pay for with the URUAV batteries, so keep that in mind. And these look really cool. These are very useful. I have the older one, which is I still use to this day. I really like these. I think, does this even have USB output? Let's see. Oh no, the other one I have is way better. But I don't know, maybe this does some other cool things also. Let's see what it does. So it's a smart battery balance charger for 2 to 6S LiPo. So I'm guessing you could charge the battery from the balance port. I think that's what it's doing here. Oh no, you could just completely charge a battery. Oh, what? New special external discharge function. Oh, this is really cool, I guess, but why is there so many things going everywhere? I don't know. I think you're gonna have to get one in your hand to fully understand how this thing's working. I don't have time to read all this, but yeah, I'll have a link down below if anyone wants to check that out. Let's see, what else do we have? I think that's currently. Let's go see if there's any new quadcopters here. Alright, so we do have some new quads here. I didn't see this before, so this is kind of SkyStar is like the new real ACC in cloning everybody. So this is kind of like a clone somewhat of maybe Armaton a little or something else. Look at the GPS up there. What the hell were they thinking? That is really expensive. Runcam 2S 1080p, GPS, FR Sky R9M. I mean, it looks okay, but someone out there will probably buy it. I'll have a link down below. Let's see. More SkyStar. What are they using? The ZMR 250 frame. Oh my goodness. iFlight Turbo B. iFlight Turbo B. Anything interesting? I think they released a new version of the Eoshin Wizard HV that has the fixes, but I could be wrong. So yeah, the Emax Buzz is getting a lot of great reviews, so maybe we'll try to get one. I think that's it really. There isn't really much interesting things out there. That's it. It's kind of dying. This whole market's dying, by the way. Just everybody's complaining from what I hear. As you can tell, Rotor went out of business. They had to sell half of their company to ready-made RC or race day quads. I think race day quads. Yeah, well, that's it, guys. I mean, that's all I currently say. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.